Hey everybody, welcome to Inside the Yankees. I'm Bob Lorenz. On this week's episode, we take a look at what goes into keeping everyone at Yankee Stadium safe and secure. Later in the show, 2025 Hall of Fame inductee CC Sabathia shares some of his thoughts on entering the Hall. And finally, John Flaherty looks back at his time with former Yankee manager Joe Torre. But first, let's head to the stadium.
Security is at the forefront of everything we do. And we've been very lucky that the Steinbrenner family has long held that belief and has supported us with resources to whether it be build on infrastructure or on personnel. Back in 2012, along with Randy Levine, they supported our desire to become the first sports facility in this country to become Safety Act certified. And what that meant was that we checked all the boxes that Department of Homeland Security had for a robust security program. We've since been recertified, which is a process that happens every 5 years. And part of what we do and what we're doing today are drills. We tabletop, we train, and then we also run drills whenever we can that supports the programs that we have in place. Obviously, we always hope for the best, but we plan for the worst. And today is one of those days that we're doing those types of things.
I was involved in part of the stadium design regarding crowd ingress and egress. The stadium has been reinforced to a standard that hadn't been an arena standard prior to this current building of Yankee Stadium. Tom Pertell, Executive Director of Stadium Security and Event Security. I'm a 36-year veteran of the New York City Police Department. I retired as a bureau chief in 2018. I had been precinct commander of the 44th Precinct, which is where we are in now. I was the borough commander of the Bronx for 8 years, so I've been intimately involved with the Yankee security for years. Today, we're doing an active shooter drill with various units of the police department. We're going to be using simunitions, and this allows us to bring in some outside officers from the precinct and from the strategic response group that would be coming in with heavy weapons to familiarize themselves with the facility.
Every game, whether it's a big Red Sox game or a Tuesday in April, we still prepare as if there could be a threat, and again, prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
The Yankees have always gotten it. They always realize that in New York, especially an iconic location like Yankee Stadium, you can't let your guard down about this. And they've never been reticent about any recommendations the police department has made to them over the years. We also have our house staff get trained by the counterterrorism unit in the New York City Police Department, so that you have our wait staff, our food and beverage staff, they're trained to see telltale signs of potential terrorist attacks. Just adds more eyes to our ability to spot something expeditiously and then subsequently respond to it.
We work with local law enforcement and others to show enough presence to make our fans, our employees, our players feel very comfortable about being here at the stadium, but not so much that it strikes maybe a little bit of fear in them.
Obviously, you got to balance policing and law enforcement. They're two different things, right? Law enforcement, black and white. Policing takes a lot more. That's where our community affairs, our youth coordination officers, and other non-enforcement entities get out there and make connections in the community that help us with crime. Benjamin Gurley, I'm the commanding officer of Patrol Borough Bronx, and I'm assistant chief. The importance is public safety is a shared responsibility. The fire department, many resources in the police department, transit, it's DEP, it's so many things that go into public safety. We want everybody to come out, enjoy the game, have fun, bring your family, eat popcorn, hot dogs, just enjoy yourself, park your car safely, and then return home. That's our goal at every event at the stadium, and that's our goal daily.
We meet several times a year with different city agencies, not just the police department, but all the different entities within the police department, the fire department, sanitation, DOT, all the different city agencies, because we recognize holding an event here at Yankee Stadium doesn't just affect the building, but it affects the communities at large and beyond.
We have a great relationship with the New York Yankees organization. The two main key points that we strive for is communication and coordination, between the Yankees, the NYPD, and all the partnering agencies of New York City.
We do a lot of things that the general public doesn't know. It's important for us to do these things. We want our fans, our guests, our players, our employees to come in and feel very comfortable and relaxed. Not know that we spend all night cleaning, not know that we're doing all this training. It's our job behind the scenes to make sure all of that is getting done. Being prepared is paramount. It's at the top of our list, and that's why we take the precautions we do and take the time to train, even in the off season, even in the winter, whenever we can, make sure we're getting that stuff done.
Jason, it's hard to believe this is the 16th annual Hope Week. I know this is something that is truly your pride and joy, getting it together. Just how did this all come about on day one?
Long time ago, spitballing with my department about different ways that we can impact inspiring people above and beyond what we regularly do. It's great to have people out to the game, maybe autograph, maybe meet a player, but do something a little bit different, kind of in the vein of the excellence that the Steinbrenner family likes all of its employees to think about when they're doing something, and I think Hope Week's a result of that. You
look at this year alone, there's already been some great organizations and awesome individuals that have been honored. I'm looking to yesterday with Love Nana. How did you find them?
Nana, I mean, it's just one of those things where you're kind of scouring the internet. You're receiving an influx of emails and phone calls throughout the year, and it's a dedicated staff that I have that looks under every rock to find people like Nana.
How difficult is that process, and how do you even choose? Because there are so many great organizations, even in just this area alone.
Yeah, it's challenging. I mean, when we first started this, we kind of knew that one of the biggest hurdles is narrowing it down to 5 stories, and I don't have a great answer. I just know that there's a lot of inspiring people out there, and we're lucky enough to at least celebrate 5 of them.
How has this grown over the years, from your idea when it started to what it's really become now?
I think it's just settled into a tradition here, which is I don't say that lightly, because we're an organization that's not necessarily looking for more tradition. It's just there's a momentum that we've felt since we started that's still there, and it starts a lot with our players. Obviously, they kind of drive the bus on this stuff. I mean, they're the people that people recognize and are inspired by in many respects. And the fact that in the middle of all this 162 game grind, that they're willing to say, hey, we're going to go the extra mile for these 5 days. What's been your most unique surprise or most memorable surprise, letting the person know that they were the honoree over the years? There's so many. I mean, I was rewatching a video of Jane Lang going back probably, I think, 15 years at least, where we knocked on her front door in this nondescript New Jersey town and decided to take the train to Yankee Stadium with her. And oh, by the way, she's blind, and she's been doing it by herself and her guide dog for the last several decades. So Jane passed away last year, unfortunately, but I watched that video again recently. It made me smile. How satisfying is it to be able to help others? Yeah, I mean, that's what we're here on Earth to do, and I'm lucky that I work for an organization that has this giant engine. And a lot of the people that we highlight, they're in many ways, they're underdogs. They're people that aren't on the front pages of newspapers or viral sensations, but for us to find them and kind of let them know that they're being seen and being heard, and it's a nice feeling. We had Bottomless Closet today, which was in Midtown, a great organization. We still have 3 more days of Hope Week hereafter. Can you give us a sneak peek on what's coming up? Well, I mean, you guys are going to be one of the lead dogs on Thursday. We've got 2 brothers who have a really interesting and inspiring story, and their dreams, one of them is to become maybe a PA announcer or broadcaster. So I think a lot of people on the Yes Network are going to get a taste and flavor for who they are.
I think I'm one of those people, if I'm not mistaken. I think I'll be hanging out with them, and I cannot wait. Hey, if there is an organization or an individual out there that wants to get somebody in front of you and wants to be a part of Hope Week in coming years, how would they do that?
The easiest way is to go to hopeweek.com. It's a really comprehensive look at everything that we've done, that we continue to try to do, and you can nominate people on that site.
And I imagine you can probably go to the ones that are being honored this year and make donations as well.
Without question, that's the idea. We want to kind of pay it forward.
Jason, appreciate the time.
Thank you, Meredith.
Welcome back to Inside the Yankees. 2025 Hall of Fame inductee CC Sabathia is no doubt going through a lot of emotions as he enters the Hall next month. He recently sat down with us to talk about the induction as well as his post-playing endeavors.
When I think about CC Sabathia, major leaguer, all-star, Cy Young Award winner, World Series champion, but now you have Hall of Famer attached to your name. When you get introduced as Hall of Famer CC Sabathia, how does that hit you?
It's still surreal, to hear that tag, the Hall of Famer. I mean, I kind of got used to the All-Stars and all those different things, but yeah, I mean, the first couple of times I heard it, it kind of gives you imposter syndrome. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that me? Do I deserve to, to be in the Hall? But, going up there, having a chance to go up there and spend a couple of days. And then, when I go up there for this ceremony, I'm sure, it'll be great and exciting and, to get some of those jitters out of, being, called that Hall of Famer for the first time. So I'm just looking forward to getting up there, hanging out with the guys and, that being a part of my new norm every summer, going up to Cooperstown.
CC, you won over 250 games. You struck out more than 3,000 batters. I could list a lot of other statistics. If I asked you, what are you most proud of in your career? What are some of the things that leap to mind?
I think for me, it's just trying to go out and compete every time out. And I feel like my teammates got that, right? Like, I feel like that's all I ever wanted to be, was just a good teammate and a great competitor. As far as stats wise, like the biggest thing I wanted to be, I remember Moose was like 100 games over 500. And I think I'm like 90 games over 500. It would have been cool to be like 100 games over 500, just because in my era, that's all that mattered. It didn't matter how many innings you went. It didn't matter, anything else. It just mattered if your team won the game the day that you were out on the mound. That's the lesson I got from Dave Berber and Chuck Finley. Is something that stuck with me. Didn't matter how many runs I gave up. I was always pitching to the scoreboard and just trying to get wins for my team. And hopefully that came through, for my teammates.
You got the number exactly right, by the way, 251 and 161, so 90 games over 500. I wanted to go back to something you said about it being surreal to be a Hall of Famer. I was in Cooperstown a couple of months ago. So for those who have never been there, you walk into the first floor and there's the gallery with all the plaques. So I'm looking at all those plaques and you know where I'm going with this. I get all the way to the back in the right. You're not there yet, but there's a spot for you. The space holder is there with your signature on a pad where your plaque will go. CC, to know that's your new neighborhood, how meaningful was that for you? How much did that hit you?
No, it was incredible. And, having a chance to go into the Hall with Ichiro is really cool because we were rookies together. But when Ichi was playing, he would go up to Cooperstown all the time in the offseason. He went up there 5 or 6 times, and I never understood. I'm like, why is he going to Cooperstown? What is he doing up there? And I got a chance to go up there with my now 14-year-old. He was playing in the 12-year-old tournament. And the first time I walked into the plaque hall, I got goosebumps right now just thinking about it. But like just walking into that hall, I mean, I was like, oh, I get it. I understand why Ichi's coming up here. It's so motivating. And I wish like current players and guys that are playing the game or aspiring to play the game would go and visit Cooperstown and just be able to see that hall. When you first walk in, the sun is like shining through, and it's like, it's incredible. And to know that, I'll have a plaque there and be a part of that room. Like I said, I mean, it's just so surreal coming from where I came from, to be considered a Hall of Famer and be in that room.
You described it so well. For me, I felt like it was a cross between being in a library, being in a church, being in a really quiet baseball community. It's amazing, and I'm so happy that you're going to have your corner there. But now here's the biggest question. How much progress have you made on your speech?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm on the second draft right now. So, I'm pretty close. I want to try to get it wrapped up by the end of the month so that I can start, saying it out loud. I want to say it in front of my family. I want to, have a chance to really get through it so that when I'm up on the podium, I can, speak confidently and talk loud and not, cry, because I'm so emotional and some of these stories are going to hit, hard for me. So, I went the route of like trying to tell stories and not trying to stand up there and thank everybody or, thank my teammates, because there's somebody that'll be missed out. So I went the route of trying to tell stories about my life and my baseball life. And, hopefully that'll be good enough for people.
CC, if I had to describe what I observed from you in your post-retirement life, the headline would be sports fanatic. Knicks games, Nets games, Yankee games, on the golf course, at the gym. How accurate a description is that of what CC is as a retiree?
You know what? That's super accurate, but that would be my whole life. I've always been a sports fanatic my whole life. And, now having a chance to, go to some of these events, being retired, whether it's F1, whether it's the Super Bowl, going to US Open. I want to go to Wimbledon, now that I have the summers off, I get a chance to kind of relax and take in some more of these sporting events. But, I think just my whole life, I've been a huge sports fan, and now having access to some of these things and being able to be retired, it's been a lot of fun.
So very recently, I was doing a post game, and we stand in the studio in the ninth inning, and we wait for the final outs. And you and Amber were right behind the plate. And I know you're there often. Bob Lorenz, who I do the pregame and postgame with, said, I wonder what kind of fan CC is. Is he charting pitches? Is Amber saying, I know it was a changeup. You don't have to tell me. So when you're sitting there, are you watching pitch sequences, or are you saying, hey, man, I'm just a fan now. I'm gonna watch casually?
Oh, no, there's never a baseball game that I watch casually. Whether it's my 14-year-old, my 21-year-old, or whether I'm watching the Yankees. I'm sitting there, I'm watching, like you said, pitch sequencing. I'm watching the defense. I'm watching the dugout to watch guys move around. But it's a lot of fun to be able to watch the game in that way and not have any pressure.
Welcome back to Inside the Yankees. I'm Bob Lorenz. Last segment, we spotlighted a newly minted Hall of Famer in CC Sabathia. In this edition of Flashbacks, John Flaherty recalls his time with Hall of Fame manager Joe Torre.
What are my memories of Joe Torre? Well, first thing I can tell you, in 2003, when I was a non-roster invite trying to make a team, Joe Torre didn't know me, I didn't know him. And I had one of those days in spring training where Joe said, we want you to go catch Jeff Weaver in a minor league game over at the minor league complex. And then we want you to come back. We have a night game at 7 o'clock. So go catch Jeff at 3, come on back over for the 7 o'clock game. So sure enough, I catch Jeff. I walk into Joe's office. I give him a whole full report on how I thought Jeff threw the baseball. And Joe Torre said, okay, go take a shower and get out on the field. The team is stretching, getting ready for a night game. Now in my mind, I'm thinking a veteran player like myself at that point, who had 10 years of major league time, I would expect the manager to say, you did your work today, go home, have dinner with your family, enjoy your night off. Joe didn't say that. He said, go out to the field, shower, and stretch and get ready. I might need you in the night game. So sure enough, I put my head down, went, took a shower, went out on the field, went through the stretching routine, and here comes Joe Torre, and he comes up over my shoulder and he said, get out of here, go enjoy your family, have a great night. And as I was walking off the field, walking back to the clubhouse to get my uniform off, get into my street clothes and go home, it occurred to me that Joe Torre was testing me. He didn't know me from any other player in the league. He wanted to see how I was going to react when he asked me to go out on the field and stick around for the night game. Was I going to give him a hard time? Was I going to make a comment? I didn't do any of that. I put my head down I went and showered, I went out on the field. He wanted to see how I was going to react. It was one of those tests that I think he was trying to see what my makeup was going to be, because as a backup player, if you were going to be a problem in the clubhouse, you weren't going to play for Joe Torre. It was one of the first lessons that I had learned from him in the 3 years that I played for him. I learned so many things, but I learned that day that he was testing to see what my makeup was going to be. Was I going to be a good fit personality for this team? And obviously made the team in '03 and hung around for a few more years. So Joe Torre liked the way I responded in that situation.
Well, that is going to do it for this edition of Inside the Yankees. Join us next week for more in-depth coverage of the Bronx Bombers. For the rest of the crew, I'm Bob Lorenz. Take care, everybody.